like contact. I don't want to just sit there and kick the ball. I want to get to the ball.
She definitely be aggressive on the O-line. She'll get past him, chop block, swim move, everything to try and get to the quarterback or the running back.
Lewis says she hopes to go to law school after college to become a sports attorney.
Working for you. Fox 2 News at 6 starts now.
Heartbreaking testimony by the widow of a man allegedly killed at the hands of two men as posing as DTE workers.
Let's get live to Fox News' Hillary Golson. She has the latest in this case. Hillary, some just terrible details coming out in court today.
This is an absolutely terrible, terrible situation. Linda Murray described the awful, awful scene. I want you to take a look at some video from court today. Now, here is what we can tell you. These two men were posing as DTE Energy workers, forced their way into the home. She recounted these absolutely chilling details. She says suspects Carlos Hernandez and Joshua Zuazo came to check what was supposed to be a gas leak, went downstairs with her husband. Only the suspects returned demanding money and jewelry. She later realized something wasn't right and then was bound, struck, and assaulted. The men stole drawers of jewelry, her phone, Apple Watch, her car keys. They allegedly killed Hussein Murray, who owned gold and glitter jewelry, while ransacking her home. Linda eventually freed herself and called 911. I want you to take a listen to this chilling testimony.
And I asked him, where's my husband? Several times.
Okay, are you asking Defendant Hernandez where your husband is?
I was asking both of them.
Okay, and what happens when you're asking about your husband?
Zuazo tells me that he's sleeping, and I know there's blood on his vest, and I start screaming.
Okay, and what happens as, let me ask you this, does Defendant Hernandez say anything in response after Defendant Zuazo says he's sleeping?
Not that I recall.
Okay. What's your response after you see the blood?
I was screaming, and Hernandez hits me in the face to cover my mouth.
And Hernandez and Zuazo, of course, face multiple felony charges. In Oakland County, I'm Hillary Golson, Fox 2 News.
All right, thanks, Hillary. We're learning more today from the first responders at the hospital where victims were taken following Sunday's shooting and fire at that church in Grand Blanc Township.
The medical professionals revealing more about that mass casualty event. Fox News' Charlie Langton has been live there, and he's joining us now. And Charlie, it was really tough to hear those doctors talk, but they did whatever they could to save those people.
Yeah, I tell you what, Tara, this is still, let me just get you, this is still an active crime scene. Before we get to the people at the hospital, you see the Michigan State Police now, they're only letting people that have to go into this subdivision to get in. You have to show your ID. And there's still a lot going on with the state police as well as local police in this area. Again, it's still an active crime scene. But let me just tell you something here. These four crosses here, they've got the names of these three of the four people who were killed. These are the men. They're all in their 70s, and a lot of Bible verses, etc., on them. People paying their tributes to the people that were killed just behind me at the Sunday's mass shooting. All right, today we heard from 3 emergency room doctors, the people that were there when the victims were brought into the hospital. They talked about so many things. They weren't panicking because they had trained for a mass shooter, but listen to the emotion in their voices. Take a look.
As I walked into the emergency room, all these patients just started rolling through the door, one after the other, with wounds that you just never see in Grand Blanc, Michigan. For the little kids that got ushered out the exit door because they were shielded from a gunshot from a friend, I don't know if those wounds will heal. You know, our resident whose kids were at church with his wife, while he was operating with me that night at the hospital, his kids will probably never be the same.
Talking about not only the physical injuries, but the emotional injuries, and you can see it, hear it in their voices. These doctors are from this community, and I'll tell you what, this is my third day here in Grand Blanc. The people, super nice people, but they are coming together because of this tragedy right behind me. 8 people were taken. They were admitted to the hospital. 3 still remain. They are in stable condition at this time. Taryn, I'm live here at the scene in Grand Blanc. I'll send it back to you.
Wow, and it was a grueling day really for those doctors too. And we understand some in surgery for 12 hours straight.
Yes, 12 hours. They started about 10:30. That's when the first 911 call. So that you give it a little bit of time there. Victor, it's only 2 miles, just straight up the road here. It's not that big. But the doctors were in surgery for 12 hours, and other doctors came too. They weren't even called. They weren't even scheduled to work. They just called in. Everyone was there in part because they had trained in a mass shooting that occurred only about a month or so before this particular incident. And that one doctor said, you never would have thought that it could happen in Grand Blanc, Michigan. Well, it did.
And that's why they have those trainings.
Still a crime scene and still a lot to answer.
All right.
Yeah,
Charlie.
that's true. That's why you train.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Taryn.
Now stay with Fox 2 for continuing coverage of the Grand Blanc Township church shooting. We'll be following the latest on this developing story on air and online at fox2detroit.com.
Well, now that the Michigan government shutdown has been averted, at least for now, lawmakers in Lansing are getting down to actually trying to pass a new budget.
Monitoring those talks is Fox 2 political insider Tim Skubik.
Well, I'm hopeful we can get it done. We've all agreed to get it done.
Last week, a very optimistic House Republican Speaker Matt Hall turned out to be spot on. They did get it done. State government was not shut down at midnight last night. And in the wee small hours of the morning, both the Michigan House and Senate approved an extension of the old state budget for the next week, giving them more time to iron out the new state budget, which remains the top priority. What is delaying the process is that at this hour, behind these doors, state workers are actually making copies of the budget so lawmakers can read where your tax dollars are going before they vote. The Speaker rattles off some of the big stuff that he wanted and got done in the new budget, including money for workers who were really never hired or paid.
We're finally eliminating thousands of ghost employees and waste, fraud, and abuse in government. We're addressing no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security for our workers. We're going to disclose pork projects in advance. That's been a big problem up here for years.
As reported here first last week, the state will continue to fund free breakfast and lunch for all school kids. And educators are still marking time waiting for that new K-12 budget from the state to arrive to avoid layoffs and other cutbacks in education. However, the $1.5 billion road fix package was not adopted last night. And in fact, there is a battle brewing as outstate Republicans are upset that they're getting fewer road dollars than lawmakers from southeast Michigan. And if those Republicans vote in strong enough numbers, they could actually kill this package. Meanwhile, Governor Whitmer has been communicating to the Capitol Press Corps via press release. In fact, when reporters tried to interview her yesterday, she ordered the sergeant-at-arms in the House to block reporters from getting to her. And it worked. Well, nonetheless, the Speaker says his cooperation with Governor Whitmer was the key to getting all of this stuff done.
I always knew that if the Democrats empowered Gretchen Whitmer to lead them and they agreed to back her on a deal, that her and I would get a deal.
And if all goes well, the two will stand along with others side by side at a budget bill signing sometime next week. In Lansing, Tim Skubik, Fox 2 News.
All right, my friends, the Tigers drop Game 2 in Cleveland. This means tomorrow there will be a winner-take-all Game 3 in the wild card series. Now Tigers fans about as quiet as the team's offense. Fox 2 Scott Wolchek was able to get a few words out of them today. He's live with more. Scott, and you know what? I know it's a dour day, but you got to hold out some hope for tomorrow.
Yes, you know what? That's the optimistic way to look at it, Roop. I'll tell you this. The first person I said, hey, can we talk to you? The game wasn't even over yet. They said, no, they suck. And we were like, well, that was pretty rough. But anyways, you know, there are a lot of fans with some hope. I got Bob here. Bob, you're the owner at McShane's, which is where we are. Obviously, you're a big sports fan. Disappointing game today, but I would imagine you're a big Tigers fan. You're holding out hope for tomorrow, right?
Yeah, absolutely. absolutely. I mean, we wish they would have brought it home. Today it was a rough outing for them, and you can always look back and say, they could have left Mize in a little bit longer, maybe for a couple extra innings. It's really hard to win a baseball game when you leave 15 people on base, 15 runners on base. So it was a bad on, but you know what? That's not what's important. What's important is the game tomorrow.
Absolutely. And you know what? We're here in the heart of Corktown. I know there's a big audience for people who absolutely love the Tigers. What would you say to the team going into the game tomorrow?
Well, they need to just buckle down, get some hits. Don't leave all those runners out there. Bring people across the plate, and they have to understand it. And they understand it. It's really important for the city. So I know that they're under the pressure, to bring us home a win. But we've got faith. They're going to get us a win tomorrow and put us into the division.
Amazing. And speaking of faith, unfortunately, I have to show how faith was crushed today. We had it where in the 8th inning is really where the Guardians kind of took off. They ended up hitting a homer. Take a look at this. We caught a fan's reaction on camera.
Cross my fingers. Hope they win.
Thank you very much. Oh, my God.
Oh, no, another home run.
Yeah. Think it's over?
I think it's over. Mad, sad, bummed out.
They started the season amazing, ended it not amazing. What are your thoughts?
Bummed out. Yeah, I was hoping they'd, have home field advantage. Now they're scratching to stay in it.
It didn't seem like Melton had it. And they got the couple hits, got a couple runs in, and everyone seemed to fall apart after that.
So it was a tough game. We got some disappointed fans, but there's a lot of hope, right? We know that the Tigers, they were awesome for a vast majority of their season. They just kind of ran into a slump. So let's hope that they could take the Guardians out tomorrow. I absolutely hate the Guardians. And you know what? We're in Michigan, so I can say they're in a lousy state. Ohio. Let's go Tigers. Absolutely. You can check out the game tomorrow, and they are going to beat the Guardians. Let's go. For now, reporting live in Corktown, Scott Walchuk, Fox 2 News.
But Scott, let's get history right here. They were doing really well, and then they weren't for a long time, but then they started doing well again, which gave us the hope, and now all of a sudden they had a slump. So this has been whiplash for Tigers fans. It's not just sad about one loss. It's the emotional back and forth. It's really hard.
It definitely is, but Detroit, we absolutely love our sports, right? And I think that the teams know it because how they perform almost reflects how our days go, right? Where it's like, if Tigers won today, oh yeah, I'm going home, I'm celebrating today, I'm going home. Well, there's always tomorrow, am I right?
And our apologies to all of our good viewers who are loyal in Toledo about the Ohio comment, but hey, it is what it is. When it comes to sports, Michigan all the way.
You can apologize. I like Toledo, but they're closer to Michigan. Come on.
We'll adopt
root for the
that.
Tigers.
I love it.
They can root for the Mud Hens.
Scott Walchuk for us live, the Mud Hens for us live tonight. Good stuff. Thank you. Well, Fox 2, following new developments today involving that alligator recently spotted by a woman out paddleboarding on Belle Isle. We'll give you the latest. And then we're checking in with Ingrid Kelly.
I'm Ingrid Kelly in Detroit, where a clap-out celebration took place to celebrate a 14-year-old who doctors call a living, walking miracle.
Hard hat check, safety vest check, and a beautiful view of downtown Detroit. I'm Brandon Hudson, and we're getting our first sneak peek at the Ralph C. Wilson Centennial Park. We're going to tell you what you can do with your families, whether it's in the spring, summer, winter, or fall.